Yeah, this is where I work every day. This is my world, really. But it's not claustrophobic. I've got a nice view of the garden of the palm trees, which remind me of exotic places elsewhere in the world. But I do like to get out. I go for a walk every day, either up to the heath or down to the river. I'm very lucky to be between the two. But also I brought in to this place souvenirs, really, memories of the journeys I've been on around the world. So I've brought the world, really, that I've experienced into my little world here. And then by working and doing the books, I like to think that I'm then sending from my little world stories and ideas back to the wider world. Servite and St Barnabas have asked me what inspired me to become an author. And in fact, it never occurred to me to be an author. I didn't want to be an author, but I loved drawing. I wanted to be an artist. And it was the most extraordinarily incredible piece of luck that got me started. I always loved drawing, and I'd lay in front of the fire drawing all kinds of things when I was a little boy. And sometimes I'd draw little kind of advertisements for my mother to put in her shop. We lived above the shop. My mother was the local shopkeeper in the village, and she sold everything, including newspapers and magazines and so forth. And sometimes I'd do little advertisements. She'd put them in the window. And then one day a new customer arrived in the village, came into the shop, and he saw my little scribbles, and he said, "Oh, that's interesting." And I started then delivering his newspaper. And one morning he came to the door to meet me. He said he was going to start a Saturday morning class for school children, for my age. Why didn't I go along to see if I'd enjoy it? I went along that Saturday morning, absolutely loved it. Now the first thing he did with us was take us outside the art school into the countryside, along the cliff tops. And there was an orchard. And we sat for about 2 hours in this orchard, drawing the old gnarled, crooked apple trees and the chickens that were picking up around underneath. And I absolutely loved it. And that's the thing that struck me. He didn't want us to sit in front of a piece of paper and make stuff up. He wanted us to go out and try and draw the real world. And if you try to draw the real world, you study, you look, and you try and draw it as accurately as possible. If you don't do that, you make up trees, the kind of ordinary, normal trees that anybody makes up. They're not different kinds of trees. And you kind of get into a sloppy way of just, oh, it's a tree. Bum, 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 bum. But I think it's so important to look and try and draw it as accurately as possible. Then you can be inventive. Then you can put kind of strange twists and turns on it. You can put monsters and stuff into it. But the monsters are so much more believable if they're in a real forest, not a forest of cottonwool trees. In order to earn some money to go full-time to art school, I started doing drawings for a local newspaper, cartoons and things, scenes of local fish markets and so forth. And I realised that the pictures I would draw would only last a day, because it was a daily paper, and then by the end of the day, that newspaper would be wrapped around fish and chips or thrown in the bin. So my work lasted for a day. I thought, well, if I did a book, it might last longer. It would last longer. But what book am I going to do? Now, at that point, I was very, very concerned with the arms race and the threat of there being a nuclear war. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do a story, it needs to be about something I think is important. So I did my first story, which was called The General. I think it's around here somewhere. Yes, in fact, it's behind my head, The General. And it's got a medal on it here marking its 50th anniversary. So this wasn't living for a day like a newspaper, it was living for at least 50 years. That's why I became an author, so I could do stories I thought were important and do the pictures for them. All Souls and Servite have asked a very interesting question. What was it like to write your first book? And the really exciting thing was not just doing the work, which I loved doing anyway, but actually going to the printers, huge printing factory, and seeing these big machines whirring away and sheets of paper coming out, covered in my pictures. It was extraordinary. And then when the book was published and launched, Liberties in the West End of London, just off Oxford Street, had a whole window devoted to this one book. It was absolutely astonishing. And Thomas asked me how I get so good at drawing. Well, thank you, Thomas, for thinking I'm good at drawing. And again, it's kind of just practice. I mean, it's something I've been doing for a very, very long time. I started off talking about looking at things and trying to draw as accurately as you possibly could. And if you keep doing it, it's just like if you're going to be good at any sport, you need to practice. If you're going to be a footballer, you practice even on your own, kicking the ball against the wall and so forth. And that's what I would do. I would lay in front of the fire and draw. It was somehow easier for me because in those days we had no television, it hadn't been invented. And so I would, my mother or brothers would be listening to the radio and I'd be laying on the floor drawing. And that became a way of life which has stuck with me to this day. Every day I draw something. Emma from the Oratory School asks, she would like to become an illustrator, how best to go about it. And I think it's just practice. Love what you do. Think of things you want to draw. Draw as well as you can. Practice, practice, practice. Illustrate some of your favourite stories, making them different from the way they've been illustrated before. Find your way of doing things. And if you're lucky, you'll think of your own stories that you want to do, which makes it much more personal kind of work because it's the whole thing is your creation, your baby. St. Gabriel's have asked a really interesting question. Where do you get your ideas from for your stories? And I tend to get them from life, from places I've been to, places I see, but particularly people I know, especially my children. I've got so many ideas for my boys as they were growing up. When they were young, I'd have ideas for young children, young picture books. As they get older, the stories would become much more suitable for older children, obviously. And I have 3 sons. And so they tended to be, I tried to make them appeal to all children, but they often had boys, because I understood them, in the central roles. But now I have granddaughters, and the ideas I get from them are a little bit different, or at least my treatment of them is a bit different. And I find that sitting and inventing a story, I can never do it. It has to kind of come to me as I see something or hear something. And you never know when it's going to happen. All Souls and St. Gabriel's have asked me, did I want to be an author when I was a child? And well, no, I want to be a footballer. I mean, as most little boys do. And it's only in thinking back how lucky I was to become an author, illustrator, and not a footballer, because a footballer has a very short career. Even if he's really, really, really successful, famous, international footballer, by the time he's in his mid-30s, he can't play anymore. An author and an illustrator can go on as long as they want. And it's something that's been a delight for me for the whole of my life, is to be able to sit in front of a piece of paper and by the end of the day have something there that didn't exist before. And if I'm lucky, it gets into a book. And if I'm lucky, that book has a very long life, much longer than the career of a professional footballer. This is another of my little black books. And for this one, it's I go for a walk most days up to Putney Heath and to the common and to the ponds up there. And one day I was there and I started to do some drawings, as you do. And then I saw this little duck, little tufty duck. And I saw someone they could walk on the leaves of the water lilies. I thought this was a really nice idea. And also some children had made a den in the woods. And I put the 2 ideas together, the tufty and the den in the woods. And this is one of the finished pictures where Tufty is befriended by a down and out living in the woods in this den. And so the ideas, like many of the others, all start from a little scribble in a notebook, and it ends up with a finished book of Tufty, the little lost duck. Another question from St Gabriel's, and particularly from Marlena at the Oratory School, asking me my favourite book of all the books I've done. And I have to go back in a quite rather obvious way and say War Boy, because War Boy is about my family, my childhood friends, and my earliest memories in life, really. And things that happen to you when you're very, very young help to make the kind of person you become. And it was a series of extraordinarily fortunate incidents. The most remarkable and the key one really was when I was 3 years old during the Second World War. I was asleep in my bed, up in I used to sleep in my mother's bedroom. She slept in her big bed and I slept in a little bed next to it. My older brothers slept in the bed in their own room. 10 o'clock at night, I was alone, asleep, and a bomb came through the roof. The bomb came through immediately above my bed, but it came through at an angle, so it missed my bed by a foot or so. And it bounced off the floor, up, hit the mirror on the wall, dropped into the fireplace, and exploded up the chimney. It was a firebomb. And of all the places in our house for a firebomb to land, it landed in the fireplace. Incredibly lucky. The other thing about the War Boy, it was the village shop. So it was the centre of the community. And all the soldiers and sailors who'd been sent to our part of the coast for their final training before they went over to join in the war would come into our shop, and my mother would make them cups of tea. They'd buy cakes and cigarettes, and they'd stand around for a while, exchanging stories. And I'd be in there sitting on the floor, listening to all these wonderful stories about the places they'd come from, Scotland, America. And that kind of fed my imagination. Westminster Cathedral School asked the question, do I have any personal connections to people featured in some of the stories? And so that certainly is the case. I mentioned about War Boy and all the people in the shop. Now, one of the regular customers in the shop was a chap called Henry Friston. Henry Friston was a bus driver, and the buses from the town would come out and turn around outside my mum's shop before they took passengers back into the town. And they would have a 10-minute break, come in for their cups of tea, and they would then be chit-chat, chit-chat, chit-chat. And Henry Friston, the bus driver, saw some of my little drawings, and he said he had a son exactly the same age as me, who also liked drawing, and he'd like us to meet. So one day, I got on his bus and he took me all the way home to where he lived, beyond the north of the town, in a tiny little village. And they lived in a little garden, and instead of a house, they lived in a railway carriage. Amazing little railway carriage. Now, he bought the land because he wanted to build a house there. But while he was going to build the house, he bought a railway carriage in which they could live. And they liked living in the railway carriage so much they didn't bother to ever build a house. Henry lived there for the rest of his life. And when I went to meet his son Donald, he also introduced me to a strange pet he had. It was a tortoise. And this tortoise he'd brought back from his experiences as a sailor in the First World War. He was at Gallipoli, and he was sent ashore to help the ambulance men carry the wounded back from the battlefield to the ship. And as he's making his way, he came under shell fire. So he dived into a shell crater, like this, and a shell rolled into the crater beside him. But it wasn't an explosive shell, it was a tortoise shell. And judging by the little legs waving about, it was a real life tortoise. So Henry tipped it up the right way. And in his backpack, he had a little bit of old crusty bread and a tomato. And he put the tomato in front of the tortoise, crept out of the crater, and went off to continue helping to bring back the wounded. And on his way back, he looked into the crater and he saw the tortoise was still there, but the tomato had gone. And he decided he wouldn't leave the tortoise there. As well as helping to save the soldiers, he was going to save this tortoise. So he smuggled the tortoise on board his ship, the HMS Implacable, and kept him hidden in his under his bunk. Two of his mates knew about it, and they would get food from the mess and feed the tortoise. And he brought it all the way back. And all those years later, it was still living with Henry outside his railway carriage. He named the tortoise Ali Pasha. And I thought, this is a story that needs to be told. So I told the story of Henry Friston and Ali Pasha, the tortoise. Westminster Cathedral School, All Souls and St Barnabas have all asked the same question. What made me write War Game? It's really because of, like many of my friends, we all had stories of fathers and uncles who'd been killed in the First World War. There were many widows in our village because their husbands had been killed in the First World War. And 4 of my uncles suffered that fate. My mother lost 2 brothers, my father lost 2 brothers. One of them was called Lacey Christmas Goddard, and he was called Christmas, his middle name, because he was born on Christmas Day. And unfortunately, he died on Christmas Day of wounds in 1918, which is a month or so after the end of the war. He was so badly wounded, but he lived on a short time and then died on Christmas Day, which is kind of odd that he was born and died on Christmas Day. My father was really too young to join the army, but when his 2 older brothers were killed, he was so angry. He wanted to be part of it. He wanted to do his duty, basically. So he lied about his age. He pretended to be slightly older than he was, joined the army, and just before the end of the war, and was in France just long enough to get very badly gassed. Now, he didn't die, but it affected his health for the rest of his life, and he died nearly 20 years later from the after effects of the gas, 1 month before I was born. So my mother lost a husband and then got lumbered with a baby. Olympia of the Oratory School asked a question about why I particularly wanted to write about the Christmas truce. And it just seems to be such a powerful image in so many families' memories. There were so many families affected by the First World War. Christmas, of course, is celebrated throughout the world. And so when they came together, the 2 armies, to play football, and it was Christmas, it just seemed to make it even more ridiculous that they should have been fighting each other the day before, and totally stupid that they're going to have to start fighting each other again the very next day. It just seemed to show the stupidity of war in a very heightened and universal way. Westminster Cathedral School asked another very interesting, poignant question. And what is my favourite part of War Game? And it's kind of a bit sad that my favourite part is literally the saddest part, but I like to think it also has a little bit of hope attached to it. For me, the most interesting, satisfying part of War Game was after the Christmas football match, which I think most children know about now. One of the soldiers kept the football, and when the whistle was blown to attack next day, he kicked the football ahead of the advancing troops towards the enemy lines, followed it. And he gets badly wounded, falls into a shell crater, and realizes that through all the smoke and mist, he can see another figure in the same shell hole, and it's an enemy soldier, a German soldier. But he's so badly wounded that he's no threat. And the British soldier is laying there in the shell hole, looking through the mist, and he sees the sun, and he thinks to himself, thank God, there's a ball in heaven, and when this nightmare is over, we'll all have another game. And then he closes his eyes, and the story ends. Darcy from St. Paulinus has asked a very interesting question, a kind of technical question, about what did I use to make the shiny poppy on the front. And it's a thing that printers often do on covers. They like to make, you see also the words poppy field, shine, because the printer has overprinted a shiny kind of foil. And so because they were doing that on the lettering, I could also ask them to do it on the spots, on the poppies. It would have been too expensive to have done the same thing inside. So it's just on the cover to attract attention, really. Iano asks another technical question about why I've used black, white and red in Poppyfield. Now, the book was always going to be a black and white book. It costs much, much more money to print a book in full colour. And the idea that it would be black and white, because it would be somehow, because it was a serious subject, it didn't need to be colourful. It needed to be kind of strong and graphic. But also, because it was about poppies, it seemed it certainly would need red. So the idea was that it was going to be black and white with red spots throughout. Johan asked another question about how I did the book. Why I've shaded some of the pages. And I show you this. The shading really is to put a kind of atmosphere in, so it could be misty and cloudy and a bit foreboding. If it was just a pure white page, it wouldn't have the same atmosphere. It would be much more kind of less. It would be less threatening and less gloomy and ominous. So the shading really is to give some kind of, instead of using colour, which I couldn't in this instance, it had to be black or white, I could use different tones of grey. Clementine from the Oratory School asked the question, do I only write books about war? And well, certainly I don't. I write books about many, many different things, different places, different countries, different animals. We treat those books about war as being very, very important. It's a very, very important subject. And as I've said earlier, war has really shaped my life, the life of my family. And so it is quite a big creative force behind me, but also have been my children and the stories they like to see, to read, and the stories they tell me. And so I think I'm pretty varied, not just books about war. Now, a very strange question from Servite. What's it like to be famous? I have no idea. To me, famous people are sports people or film stars or musicians, or they have a big reputation. I've just got a big number of books to my name because I've been doing it for a long time, and I just don't see myself as being remotely famous. It's just that my name is on lots of books because I did the books myself. It's not like there are lots of books written about me. as there are about famous people. I have just worked hard all my life, doing what I love, appreciating how fortunate I've been, and doing the best I can. Well, I often put rainbows into stories because it is such an optimistic image. And this is from the book I'm working on at the moment. This is almost the end of the story. And this is the very end. I haven't finished the rainbow yet, but this is where the little character here is reunited with his mum and dad after a rather terrifying adventure. Here he's at the beginning with a dark cloud on his horizon. He's feeling very, very cold. And things, as you see, only get worse because he meets these terrible characters who chase him throughout the book until we get to the happy ending again with the rainbow. And this is how the story starts. All the books start in the same way, with just rough drawings of the character and the words, and then it progresses on through the book. So you can see that there's very little difference really between this first drawing of him and the first finished picture. But as I say, it ends always on a hopeful note, so that you all feel better at the end of it, which is all we can ever hope for. We'll all feel better at the end of it. So this is just a quick image of after such a horrible 2020. I got this kind of 2020 in a puddle of poo, and on the other side, 2021, there's a flower of hope popping up at the other side of the rainbow, and hopefully at the other side of 2020 we'll all have a wonderful rainbow year full of sunshine and happiness. So this is my Happy New Year card to you all.